Can you describe the country rock
The
Howe
sound?
Gelb way?
Of course not. That would just takes a
Take a
listen.
shot.
It has to have a punk ethic, as original country did. It has to be minimal, not overproduced. Good old tones on cheap, but really well made and old sounding instruments that were originally available for everybody to play. And then it has to be full of the spirit of the spontaneous moment.
Is it a back to basics sort of thing then? Did you feel
Back to basics?
Did you feel perhaps you drifted away, perhaps from the basic elements of country rock?
No. It's always been there. It's been there since 1981 for me. Actually 1976, when my first recordings. I recorded with I recorded it inside of a duo named Wow and Flutter, and we did 4 country songs. But then punk rock came in the late 70s, and that really opened everything up. It was such a great relief. The 70s weren't kind to rock after 1973. There were only a few good records.
The punk ethic you were talking about regarding this record, is that only in the way you use as minimal as possible? Or is there something else?
I just like minimalism. I like the listeners' ears to take part in the sound. It's probably why I like living out in Arizona, because the skyline is so minimal. You know, the area is so open. So I was born in Pennsylvania, and it was very dark there. And then in 1972, destiny flung me out to Arizona, and that seemed to make more sense to me. So, and when people suggest that where I live is indicative of the music I make, it's not so much so as you might think, but it's in the minimalism, or even in the erosion, the way things kind of get ripped apart and torn open from the weather. So some of my songs get ripped apart and torn open.
Is there one story running through the record that you can perhaps describe?
Yeah, it's a treatment. It's about a guy who wanted to become more free. So, or he thought he did. So he wanted to see what would happen if he gives everything up and he heads out. And he was probably pretty free to begin with, but it's existential in a way, because, well, I think everything is. Whether intentional or not, it's intentional. And he went out to, he headed in a direction after he sold all of his worldly goods. And immediately he got tripped up in a border crossing and then was imprisoned. So the exact opposite happened to him that he was hoping. He got less free immediately. And then within that imprisonment, he had to get more free within himself. And as he did that, the earth just happened. It happened to be 2012. It takes place right now. And the earth just happened to be changing its rotation direction on its axis, as is the prediction by some doomists. And whether or not I subscribe to that didn't matter. I just needed, I just liked the idea of the imagery. So I utilized the change in the Earth's rotation to occur while he's in prison, but he's already been in, he's already figured out a way to be more free inside his own head. But then the Earth changes at the same time. And it's also at the same time the monsoon storms are coming in, which happens every summer in Tucson. Big clouds build up and they pour down this rain that's like a waterfall for a half hour. And the roads fill up the roads become rivers. So this all happens like a perfect storm while he's in prison, and the prison melts away because people there don't care anymore. Immediately they got more they got bigger concerns with the Earth changing rotation. And it's blindingly pouring rain, so you can't even see the walls, you can't even see the imprisonment anymore. And he virtually walks out through the rain and not knowing where he's going, and then just keeps, it takes him a while to realize he's long since passed the walls. He's just walking in the rain until the rain clears and nobody's around.